The fiercest battle is never on the field. It begins long before the clash of weapons. It is fought within. The mind is the true battlefield. Lead the mind, or be led by it. This is the paradox of war and peace, victory and defeat. If you cannot control your thoughts, your fears, your doubts, the external war is already lost. Sun Tzu, the ancient master of strategy, understood this better than any. He declared, "The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting." This is not a call to avoid conflict, but a revelation about the power of mental dominance. The war within precedes every external conquest. If you win the internal war, the outer battles fall in line. If you lose it, no amount of physical strength or tactical maneuvering can save you. This is the essence. Leadership begins inside your own mind. Before you can command armies, negotiate treaties, or face your adversaries, you must command yourself. The mind is the general of your life's campaign. If it is confused, fearful, or reactive, you will be too. But if it is calm, focused, and proactive, you become unstoppable. Imagine two warriors on the brink of battle. One trembles with anxiety, his mind a tempest of what-ifs and worst-case scenarios. The other stands composed, eyes steady, breathing controlled. Who leads the mind? Who leads the outcome? The battlefield is not just where swords clash. It is where thoughts clash first. You must ask yourself, are you leading your mind? Or is it leading you? This is not a mere question of willpower. It is a strategic imperative. Because every decision, every reaction, every step you take flows from the state of your mind. Chaos within breeds chaos without. Order within breeds victory without. Lead the mind, and you command your destiny. This is the foundation of all success in conflict and in life. Before you can win any battle, you must win the war within your mind. How do you do this? First, recognize the terrain. Your mind is a landscape, sometimes calm, sometimes stormy. Awareness is your map. Without it, you stumble blindly into traps of fear, doubt, and confusion. With it, you navigate purposefully, choosing your battles before they even arise. Prepare the mind like a commander prepares for war. Study your thoughts. Anticipate your emotional responses. Understand your triggers. The mind, like any battlefield, must be surveyed and controlled. You do not wait for the enemy to strike. You strike first, with clarity and confidence. This internal leadership is not about suppressing emotions or forcing positivity. It is about mastering them. It is about steering the mind with intention, not letting it drift like a rudderless ship. Because before the enemy arrives, there is the enemy within: fear, hesitation, distraction. Lead the mind proactively, and you shape your reality. You create conditions where victory is not just possible, but inevitable. You become the strategist of your own fate. The external world reacts to the internal command center you establish. Reflect on this. The greatest generals never rushed into battle without a plan. Their first conquest was always the landscape of their own minds. They prepared mentally, rehearsed scenarios, and anticipated outcomes. Their readiness was a fortress before the first arrow flew. So must you prepare. Lead the mind with the same discipline and urgency you would bring to physical training or tactical planning. Train your thoughts, discipline your emotions, and build mental resilience. Because this is where the real war is won. Every moment you spend surrendering to reactive thoughts, you lose ground. Every moment you claim control, you gain a strategic advantage. The mind is your battlefield, and the prize is your future. Will you be the commander who leads from within, or the soldier lost in the chaos of unmastered thoughts? The path begins here. The internal war is the most important campaign you will ever fight. The mind is your most powerful weapon and your greatest vulnerability. Let it well, because when the outer war comes, as it always does, you will already have won. Battles are not won by sheer force alone. The strongest army can crumble when its leaders lack clarity. Sun Tzu teaches us that victory belongs to the one who masters strategy first, and that strategy begins in the mind. The supreme art of war is mental. It is the art of outthinking, outmaneuvering, and outlasting the enemy before weapons are drawn. Consider this. Two warriors face the same threat. One is paralyzed by fear, overwhelmed by chaos swirling inside. His mind races, tangled in confusion, unable to grasp the full picture. The other meets the same threat with calm anticipation, eyes sharp, mind clear. His thoughts are ordered like soldiers in formation, ready to execute a plan. Which one wins? The mind that leads itself decisively dictates every move on the battlefield. The warrior who loses control internally becomes a victim of panic, hesitation, and poor judgment. The one who leads his mind remains adaptive, composed, and decisive. Because war is uncertainty made real. It is chaos. But within that chaos, the calm mind finds opportunity. It sees paths that others miss. It calculates risks with precision. This is the difference between reaction and anticipation, between surrender and victory. Sun Tzu's principle is clear. The preparation of the mind is the preparation for war itself. You do not wait for confusion to engulf you. You build mental discipline to prevent it. You sharpen your strategic thinking to cut through fog and fear. You train your mind to remain steady when everything around you threatens to unravel. Mental readiness is the ultimate tactical advantage. Without it, superior numbers or firepower mean little. The mind is the commander of all action and reaction. It sets the tempo. It dictates the rhythm of battle. When the mind falters, so does the body. When the mind conquers, the body follows. Look deeper. What does it mean to prepare the mind? It means developing mental clarity, the ability to see the situation as it truly is, not as your fears or biases distort it. It means controlling emotional impulses like anger or anxiety that cloud judgment. It means anticipating possible outcomes and planning accordingly. The warrior overwhelmed by fear is reactive. His mind is a storm with no direction. He fights shadows of his own making. He hesitates at critical moments. He misses openings. His decisions are fragmented, scattered. Defeat follows. The composed warrior, by contrast, has trained his mind to remain steady. He does not ignore fear. He acknowledges it, then channels it into focus. He anticipates the enemy's moves, prepares contingencies, and executes with purpose. His mental discipline transforms chaos into opportunity. This is why mental preparation is not a luxury, but a necessity. It is the foundation upon which every tactical decision rests. Because in war, moments decide outcomes. A split second of hesitation can cost lives. A moment of clarity can seize victory. Ask yourself, when faced with pressure, does your mind sharpen or scatter? Do you control your thoughts, or do they control you? This is the battlefield within. The difference between being overwhelmed and being composed. Sun Tzu's wisdom echoes through time. He who is prudent and lies in wait for an enemy who is not, will be victorious. Prudent means prepared. Prepared in mind, body, and spirit. The mind must be the first line of defense and the first strike. Because no external force can defeat you if your internal command is unshakable. The mental battle is also a battle against confusion. Chaos seeks to break your focus, to cloud your judgment. But the disciplined mind slices through this fog. It sorts through conflicting information, weighs risks carefully, and chooses the best course. This mental clarity becomes a force multiplier on the battlefield. Contrast two commanders, one driven by panic, shouting orders in frantic bursts, the other calm, methodical, and deliberate. Which army fights with cohesion? Which strategy unfolds flawlessly? The answer is clear. Leadership of the mind translates directly to leadership in action. Mental preparation means anticipating the unexpected. War is unpredictable, so your mind must be flexible yet anchored. It must adapt quickly, recalibrate plans, and stay poised under pressure. This is the hallmark of a true strategist. The question is not whether you will face adversity. That is certain. The question is, how will you meet it? Will your mind be a battlefield of chaos or a fortress of discipline? The ability to lead your mind decisively determines every tactical move you make. It shapes your response to fear, uncertainty, and challenge. It governs your timing, your judgment, your resilience. Because the external conflict is a reflection of the internal one. The chaos on the field mirrors the chaos in your thoughts. The calm on the field mirrors the calm in your mind. This is the law of nature and war. Learn to master your mind first. Train it like a warrior trains his body. Sharpen it like a blade. Condition it like armor. Because mental readiness is the ultimate determinant of victory or defeat. Remember, the enemy's greatest weapon is confusion. Your greatest weapon is clarity. The battle is won by the one who commands his mind with discipline and foresight. So cultivate mental leadership. Anticipate the chaos. Prepare your mind to stand firm. Because the ability to lead your mind is the ability to lead your fate. Will you be the warrior who succumbs to internal chaos, or the one who commands his mind and conquers? The choice is yours. The battlefield waits. Mastering the mind is not a passive activity. It is an active command. It is the difference between reacting blindly and acting with purpose. When you lead your mind, you enhance every aspect of your mental performance: decision-making, timing, emotional regulation, resilience. These are the pillars of victory, both on the battlefield and in life. Think about decision-making. A mind under siege by doubt and distraction falters. It hesitates. It second-guesses. But a mind trained to lead itself moves swiftly and decisively. It assesses the situation clearly, weighs options calmly, and executes without unnecessary delay. This is not luck. It is mental leadership. Timing is another crucial element. Too early, and you waste resources. Too late, and the opportunity slips away. The calm mind senses when to strike and when to hold back. It reads the rhythm of events and aligns your actions with the flow of the battle. This precision is born from mental discipline. Emotional regulation is often misunderstood. Leading the mind does not mean suppressing emotions or pretending they don't exist. Emotions are powerful signals. They inform. They motivate. The key is to guide emotions constructively, not to be controlled by them. Fear can sharpen focus when harnessed. Anger can fuel determination without blinding judgment. Resilience, the ability to recover from setbacks, is the final pillar. Every battle will test you. Every challenge will threaten to break your spirit. But a mind that commands itself bounces back. It learns from failure instead of succumbing to it. It stands firm amidst chaos because it has cultivated mental toughness. How do you cultivate this mental leadership? It begins with often neglected practices that transform your inner landscape. First, visualization. This is not daydreaming. It is a disciplined rehearsal of success and preparation. Visualize scenarios, anticipate challenges, and see yourself overcoming them. Your mind becomes familiar with victory before the battle even begins. Next, emotional awareness exercises. Pay close attention to your feelings. Identify what triggers anxiety, anger, or distraction. Understand the signals your emotions send. This awareness gives you the power to respond rather than react. You become the strategist of your own emotional state. Then, internal narrative reframing. The stories you tell yourself shape your reality. Replace defeatist thoughts with empowering ones. Shift, "I can't handle this," to "I am prepared for this challenge." Reframe obstacles as opportunities to grow. This mental shift builds confidence and resilience. Each of these practices requires consistency. Mental leadership is not a switch you flip once. It is a muscle you train daily. Because before you can lead others, you must lead yourself. Every thought, every feeling, every impulse. Imagine a commander who rehearses every possible battle scenario in his mind. He does not wait for chaos to strike. He anticipates it, prepares for it, and visualizes his response. When the real battle comes, his mind is already a step ahead. He reacts not with panic, but with precision. Or consider the soldier who knows his emotional triggers. When fear rises, he recognizes it instantly. He breathes deeply, centers himself, and converts that fear into heightened awareness. When anger flares, he channels it into focused energy instead of reckless aggression. This emotional mastery turns vulnerability into strength. Now think about the narrative you tell yourself in difficult moments. Do you see obstacles as insurmountable walls or as challenges to overcome? Do you tell yourself you are capable, or do you doubt your abilities? The stories you carry in your mind become the foundation of your actions. When you reframe your internal dialogue, you change the battlefield within. You shift from a mindset of scarcity and fear to one of abundance and courage. This mental transformation is not just psychological, it is strategic. It shifts your entire approach to conflict and challenge. These practices are often overlooked because they require discipline and introspection. It is easier to focus on external tactics or physical training. But without mental leadership, those efforts falter. Because the mind is the command center. Without it, your actions lack coherence and power. Lead the mind, and your decisions sharpen. Your timing improves. Your emotions become allies, not enemies. Your resilience grows unbreakable. This is the battlefield mastery Sun Tzu hinted at, the unseen force behind every victory. Remember, the mind is not a passive observer. It is your most potent weapon and your most cunning adversary. Master it, and you gain control over your fate. Neglect it, and you surrender to chance and chaos. The question is clear. What are you doing today to build this mental leadership? How are you training your mind for the battles ahead? Because preparation is the difference between reaction and strategy, between defeat and triumph. Visualize your success. Notice your emotions. Reframe your story. These steps are small but powerful. They lay the groundwork for commanding your mind when the real test arrives. Lead the mind. Win the war within. Because every external victory begins with internal mastery. Leading the mind is not theory, it is action. Mental mastery demands practical strategies you can apply daily. Because preparation without practice is just wishful thinking. The battlefield within requires training. Here are proven techniques, inspired by Sun Tzu's philosophy, to sharpen your mental leadership and build unshakable resilience. First, daily reflection journaling. Each day, carve out time to review your thoughts, emotions, and decisions. Write down moments when you felt in control and moments when your mind slipped into chaos. This practice builds self-awareness, the foundation of mental discipline. When you see your patterns clearly, you gain the power to change them. Journaling is not just recording. It is strategic reconnaissance of your inner terrain. Second, controlled exposure to stressful scenarios. Seek discomfort deliberately. This might mean tackling difficult conversations, facing fears head-on, or simulating pressure situations mentally or physically. Why? Because the mind grows stronger by facing challenges, not avoiding them. Controlled stress teaches your mind to remain calm, to adapt, and to execute under pressure. It's like mental weightlifting. Each challenge adds strength. Third, mindful consumption of information. In today's world, distractions bombard you relentlessly. Noise clouds judgment. False information breeds confusion. To lead your mind, you must curate what you allow in. Limit exposure to negative news, toxic conversations, or endless social media scrolling. Instead, feed your mind with clarity, facts, strategies, inspiring stories. This mental diet protects your focus and sharpness. The mind, like the body, thrives on quality inputs. Embrace controlled discomfort. This is not about reckless risk, but deliberate challenge. Walk into the mental fire so you won't be burned by surprise later. When you habituate your mind to discomfort, you build toughness. You develop the ability to stay composed when chaos erupts. This is the essence of mental leadership. Consider the warrior who trains in harsh conditions, who welcomes tough drills not because they are easy, but because they forge resilience. Your mind needs the same regimen. Seek situations that test your patience, your focus, your emotional control. Each time you succeed, you expand your mental capacity. Curate your mental inputs like a general selects his intelligence sources. The quality of information you absorb directs your thoughts and decisions. Allow in only what serves your strategic goals. Shield your mind from distractions that scatter your energy. This disciplined intake enhances your clarity and foresight. Implement these steps daily. Begin with reflection journaling, no more than 10 to 15 minutes. Record your mental victories and defeats. Note what triggered negative reactions and how you can respond better next time. This simple habit builds a feedback loop for mental growth. Next, identify controlled stress opportunities. Set small challenges that push your comfort zone. Maybe it's speaking up in a meeting or tackling a tough project. Gradually increase difficulty. The goal is to train your mind to stay calm and focused under pressure. Finally, audit your information consumption. Be ruthless in cutting out noise. Schedule times to check news or social media instead of constant scrolling. Choose sources that empower your thinking. Guard your mental space fiercely. These techniques are not quick fixes. They are daily rituals that build mental leadership brick by brick. Because leading the mind is not a one-time event, it is a lifestyle. It requires discipline, consistency, and courage. Remember, the calm mind is cultivated in preparation, not by chance. When external chaos strikes, your mental training becomes your fortress. Your mind does not fracture under pressure. It commands with clarity. Lead the mind through reflection. Lead the mind through controlled challenge. Lead the mind through careful curation. These actions build the strategic mindset Sun Tzu revered. Are you ready to train your mind? To face discomfort before it faces you? To protect your focus against the noise of the world? The choice is yours. The battlefield is within. The time to act is now. Elite military units distinguish themselves not just by physical prowess, but by the narratives they carry in their minds. Those who persist, who press forward when others falter, are the ones who have mastered their internal dialogue. They lead their minds with unwavering discipline, crafting mental stories that fuel endurance, courage, and purpose. This is the real edge, the unseen force behind every victory. You must understand, the mind does not wait for conflict to arise before it prepares. Waiting is surrender. The battle for control begins now, in this moment. Proactive mental training is the strategic advantage that separates leaders from followers. It builds a psychological fortress that no external assault can breach. Ask yourself, what stories are you telling yourself when the pressure mounts? Are they narratives of doubt and defeat, or are they affirmations of strength and resilience? The stories you tell shape your identity and your destiny. They determine whether you rise or fall when tested. Establish daily rituals that nurture mental strength. These rituals need not be grand or time-consuming. They can be moments of quiet reflection, deliberate breath control, focused visualization, or journaling your victories and lessons. The key is consistency. The mind grows strong through repeated, intentional practice. Consider Sun Tzu's example. In the midst of chaos, he remained calm, decisive, and clear-headed. His mind was a fortress, unshaken by the storm of battle. This calm decisiveness is not born of circumstance. It is cultivated through relentless mental leadership. The question is not if you will face adversity, this is certain. The question is how you will respond. Will you be overwhelmed by internal chaos, or will you command your mind and conquer? Will you wait for the storm to break you, or will you prepare so thoroughly that the storm becomes your ally? Lead the mind. Win the war within. Because before any external victory is possible, the internal battle must be won. The calm mind is your greatest weapon. Use it well. What daily practice will you commit to today? How will you rewrite the narrative inside your mind? The answers lie within you. The battlefield awaits.